Hey guys, welcome back. We're onto the tracks. This is probably the most long and tedious part of this, how to paint, for me anyway. I hate painting tracks. But what we're going to do, we're going to start painting the tracks in Mr. Hobby's Red Brown. And the reason we use this, it's a really rich, reddy brown colour. It's quite vibrant when we first throw it on, but once we add the washes and the pigment powders and stuff like that, it tones it right down and gives it a natural rust effect. And for this, I just paint it on with a brush, just a brush. So, as I said, the most boring of the bits to do. But basically we're going to paint the whole track in this colour, all up in the links here. Try not to get any on the rim. You can see like the outer rim here. We don't want to really get any on that. Doesn't matter if we get some on this very outside, like I'll just put a bit of paint on it. Doesn't matter if we get a little bit out. Oops, sorry guys. Doesn't matter if we get a little bit out there, because that's going to be all painted black. We just don't want to hit that rim, and so yeah, and away we go. Same with here. We don't want to get the sprocket teeth. We want to try and, you've got to try and be fairly neat. And now this is why we don't paint the tracks while it's on the tank. It's just way too hard. You get shit everywhere. So this is the best way to do it. Now I'm going to paint this track and I'll be back. Okay guys, we're back. As you can see, the track's got its coat of red-brown. Now, with the red-brown, if you can see here, we haven't painted any of these pieces in the back. There's no need to go to that extent, and I'll show you why. When we place the track on the tank, okay, here we go. When we place it, you don't actually see the back, the top of the track from behind, because it's glued into the actual hull of the tank. So there's no, preferably it's better if you don't paint it anyway, because you give the resin something to adhere to when you glue it. But you can see there that, you know, it's quite a realistic brown. Even just straight, so you can, you know, instantly tell as soon as we start adding the washes and pigments and stuff like that. It comes up absolutely awesome. So it's such a great colour. I actually found it by mistake, but I use it for a lot of things now. The old Red Brown by Mr. Hobbies, and you can see we don't paint the you know, like we don't paint the rubber section. You can see why you don't paint the rubber section in here, because when you paint the tracks, you're gonna hit it. So we paint all that black last, pretty much, before we weather it. So that's one track done. We'll do the other one and get to weathering. So that's the two tracks base coated. While we've got the red brown, we're going to do a bit of muffler work. Now, basically what I've done, because I've already sprayed the tank in its base colours, and I've weathered it and everything like that, I want to leave some of that Dunkergelb on the muffler, but I want to take my red brown and, like the chips that we did all over the tank, we get a bit of sponge and we're going to sponge the muffler in red brown. But we want to do it heavy. Let's see, can you see? So we want to do it a heavy sponging, a heavier sponging than the than the grey. We want to get some of that red brown onto that muffler. So as you can see, we're going to go a little bit heavier than that. Just get some fresh red brown. Alright, so sponges. Now you could, theoretically speaking, if you really wanted to, you could go the other way. You could sort of paint it all red brown and then sponge it with a bit of Dunker Gold, but it's just easier to do it this way. Now, this Mr. Hobbies is particularly good for this. We're going to let that sort of just dry off just slightly, and it's going to be, you can feel it's just tacky. So what we're going to do is we're going to sponge it in a way like that, and it's going to raise the paint up and give it a textured appearance, and if you were to touch it, it would be a textured feel as well. Now I want to take a bit of my red brown and I want to block in a bit of this colour as well. So especially underneath. Can we see we're in frame? And I want to get it up in here. Not block it all in. Just some of it. So we want to leave just the minute little bit of the of that red brown, Dunker Gold coming through. Now because in here is quite small, we're just going to steeple a bit of the red brown in there, just like so. But here we don't want to go too much, we just want it just a little bit. Sorry guys, I'll just turn this around here. Okay guys, I've made my black wash up. Exactly the same, it's an oil wash. Now we're going to add our oil. We're going to add our oil wash. Now I've made this oil wash a little bit stronger than normal because I really want to get it in there and I want to stain that track. Also, I haven't added any varnish to the actual tracks at all. They're a little glossy because I've had the particular paint I'm using is got a gloss in it anyway. But I don't want it. I want it that black to actually stain that track a darker colour. So not only is it a wash to bring out bring the track out and highlight it and give it natural shadows, I also want it to tint that track down a bit as well in the recesses and really give it bring out the more organic look of a track. Alright guys, while the tracks are drying we can go on to other bits and pieces. There's still other bits and pieces that we can do, like we'll go on to the MG42. So at this scale, sometimes metal doesn't always come out looking the best painted in metallics. So we're going to paint this particular piece, this MG42, we're going to paint it in German grey by Vallejo. So I'll just grab a brush. So yeah, alright, we're going to paint the machine gun, all the barrel and everything in German grey. So all this in German grey. Oh, sorry guys, I know it's probably out of focus there. Alright. And we're just gonna, while we've got a bit of German grey on the brush still, we're just gonna brush over that honeycomb. Honeycombed air filter, or whatever it may be. I would say air vent of some description for the engine to keep cool. So there's that. We're going to add a wash to this, and another wash basically to that end of the machine gun. So and that's pretty much it. We have not a lot of tools on this one. Wash here. I'm just going to do a little bit of a pin wash with our finer brush. You've got to be careful with this because this can destroy some of the work you've already done. So you just want basically a little bit on a finer brush, and very, very gently throw it into that recess. Just while everything's drying, go around and hit everything, hit all the recesses again, just to bring it out. Now, I do have a varnish on this to protect all the weathering we've already done, so that'll also help for the wash to flow into that recess, and basically you sort of just touch it in the one area, the wash on the recess, and it sort of just sucks it up, and the wash will follow that line. So now all the techniques that we've used here can be used for for any scale. You can use this for 1:35, 1:48, Flames of War scale if you want. It's completely up to you and how far you want to go with your models. Me, I like to go all the way with them. You pay, as I've always said, you pay good money for them. Take your time, and you'll appreciate it. The better job you do, the more you will definitely appreciate your models. Alright guys, I've stuck the tracks on. Now they're all sort of base coated and painted, so ready for weathering. But before we weather it, I want to get some. I've got some Mr. Hobbies. Now this is called Tire Black. Good thing about this colour is it's black, but it's more of a rubbery black. It's quite a really nice black for tyres and rubber components. It's not a straight out black. It's got more of like a grey tinge to it, if you will. Quite a nice colour. Now, you've probably noticed through this whole series I've used a lot of the Mr. Hobbies. Now, Mr. Hobbies to me is an absolutely terrific colour or paint brand for painting armour. It sprays beautifully straight from the little jar. Problem is it isn't a jar, so it's kind of shitty when you're trying to transfer it to airbrushes and stuff. You always get that, dribble and stuff like that. But if I was painting figures, like these figures up here, which we will be painting these as well, I won't be painting these in Mr. Hobbies at all. It's not for that. So on that note, guys, I'm gonna take me Tire Black and start painting the oh, still a bit wet, shit, and start painting the black around here. I might just let this dry a little bit longer before I actually hook in, but But that's what we're going to do when I come back. That'll be all painted, all this rubber, leaving this little ring here. We don't want to touch that. We just want just the rubber on the outside. Alright guys, got all the rubber done, all the tyre black put on. Now we're going to take a dry brush, and we're going to do a little dry brushing on the tracks. Now we're going to dry brush the tracks gunmetal grey, and then we're going to do them oily steel. So there's the oily steel and the gunmetal grey. Gunmetal grey will go down first. That'll act as a like a base coater, if you will, and then we'll highlight just in some areas. We'll highlight the track with the oily steel just to bring out bits and pieces. Now this is just a simple dry brush. I like to use quite a large brush for dry brushing. It's up to you what you feel comfortable with. I've used the quite a lot. I use this large brush for ages now. I prefer it. I can get me colour onto it, and I know I'm not going to run out and, you know, in 3 swipes. So yeah, you know, just use what you're comfortable with. Just like that. I don't need to explain to you what a dry brush is. I know you all know. Everyone seems to, when they're doing a paint tutorial, they go on for 5 minutes on what a dry brush is. Just like that. That'll give that the raised areas of the track a nice sheen. You can see that coming through. Now we'll wash our brush off, and what we'll do is we'll put this big brush away, and we'll grab a littler brush, something like that. And now we put a bit of oily steel. Now oily steel, if you have a look, let's get in and have a look at the colours. I don't know if you can see, that's gunmetal grey there. It's quite a dark grey, and that's the oily steel. It's considerably lighter. It's almost, the best way to explain it, your GWs out there, it'd be like bulk gun to what is the chainmail, or even mithril silver actually. Probably chainmail. Well, that's the old school colours. I don't know what they're called now, lead belcher or something like that. So this we just want to apply on the raised sections, and you just want to just paint it, just the top of it, of the little raised bit on the track. And then when we're coming up through here, we just like so.
Get the edges. You don't want to go in and give it an aggressive dry brush like we did with the gunmetal and the bigger brush. It's just the edges pretty much, and those raised bits on the front and backs of the track. Now I want to get a little bit on some of the teeth. On the cog here, you want to get some on there. You can see I've gotten a bit on the black. I'm going to have to go back and fix that. That's as quick as that's sort of our track's done to the point where now we weather it. But just grab your tyre black. You don't have to. If you're pedantic or you're a bit fussy, just grab a little bit of black, and it's literally, you know, I didn't get any on that side. This side I made a fucking mess, but you just clean it back up. More the black, guys, just fix the black up. You get a bit on the rims and stuff, that's sweet as, don't worry about it, because what I'm going to do anyway is all the little rivets there, I'm going to get me finer brush now and take that oily steel again, or actually sorry, not oily steel, the gunmetal grey, and I'm just gonna do this. Just go around and just touch them, just like that. Doesn't matter if you don't get them all. Doesn't matter at all, as long as you get just a couple of them, just like so, just to bring out a bit of that exposed metal on the rivets on the wheels. As I said, it doesn't, you do not have to go around and get every single little rivet on those wheels, because there would be, you know, the odd colour still on them. Now it doesn't matter if you get bits and pieces, like if you can see, I'm getting a little bit into the actual hub there. That's fine. That's fine. But we don't want to get, you know, go stupid with it and get it everywhere. You want to be quite, what's the word, sort of selective, I suppose, and a little sparingly as well. So that's pretty much it on the tracks. Now we just got to weather them, which is basically just our pigments, and the tank is pretty much done. When we weather the tracks, we'll also weather the exhaust as well. So I'll go and get all my pigments set up, and we'll be back.